Welcome to Minghui Radio's Falun Gong News, direct from China and around the world. Topics include news about the persecution of Falun Gong in China, local events, and special items of interest. Now for this week's stories.
Worldwide, May 13th was the 27th World Falun Dafa Day and the 34th anniversary of the public introduction of Falun Dafa. The entire month of May, practitioners and people around the world celebrated the occasion in a variety of ways. Their celebrations transcended borders, cultures, and ethnic groups. Many people say Falun Dafa's guiding principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance are especially meaningful in today's chaotic world. Despite strict internet censorship in China, Falun Dafa practitioners and supporters continue the tradition of sending greetings and messages to the Minghui website each year around May 13th. From May 10th to the 15th this year, Minghui published nearly 22,400 greeting cards and messages from China and around the world. In China alone, well-wishers represented more than 70 professions and organizations. Outside China, practitioners held activities to celebrate the occasion, and hundreds of elected officials from many countries sent proclamations and congratulatory letters expressing their respect for Mr. Li Hongzhi and Falun Dafa, and crediting the practice for improving people's health and character and benefiting people around the world.
South Korea, the Tianti bookstore in the city of Seoul holds a free 9-day workshop every month to introduce Falun Dafa to the public. The participants discuss their experiences on the last day of the workshop, including what they learned and what inspired them to attend. Attendee Hong Shou-yu participated in a 9-day workshop 6 years ago, but due to her busy schedule, she did not continue practicing. She fell ill about a year ago and injured her leg, which required surgery. She said, "Looking back, I realized I shouldn't have slacked off these 6 years. This time, I'm really touched by the profound teachings. I didn't understand how profound Falun Dafa is the last time I attended the workshop." Ms. Hong noted that the physical improvement she experienced during the workshop was amazing. She said, "Because of my injury, I usually have difficulty sitting for a long time, but during this workshop, I was able to meditate in the half lotus position. I've improved a lot in just these few days, both physically and mentally. The energy field here is very good. It inspires me to resume practicing."
The Netherlands. Falun Dafa Information Days were held in 2 Dutch communities at the end of May. Practitioners raised awareness of the Chinese Communist Party's persecution and collected signatures on a petition calling for an end to the human rights abuses. Many people learned about the issue and condemned the CCP's brutality. Located in the province of South Holland, Leiden is home to more than 118,000 people and is known as the City of Keys. The city serves as a hub for international student exchange, thanks to the renowned Leiden University. Practitioners set up a booth there on the street Haarlemmer Straat on May 23rd, where they demonstrated the exercises and distributed informational flyers. On May 30th, an annual music festival called the Summer of Brabant took place in the province of North Brabant. People were drawn by the practitioners exercising in their yellow attire at Kerkstraat, learned about the persecution, and signed a petition against it. Booth visitor Diana works in the field of psychology and is interested in the law and research surrounding organ donation and transplantation. She commended the practitioners for raising awareness of the CCP's forced organ harvesting.
USA. In Washington, D.C., a rally took place in front of the Chinese embassy on May 30th and 31st to call for the immediate release of practitioners recently detained illegally by the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, in China. Their family members spoke at the event. A representative from the Washington, D.C. Falun Dafa Association issued a statement at the rally that said, "We request the CCP to immediately stop persecuting Falun Gong and release all people who are imprisoned for their faith." During the rally on May 30th, democracy advocates also held events in front of the Chinese embassy. Zhang Aibin from Wuhan and some other democracy advocates spoke and joined with others who signed the petition in support of the bill, the Falun Gong and Victims of Forced Organ Harvesting Protection Act, which has been introduced in the U.S. Senate. Former Chinese human rights lawyer Li Shuangde said, Falun Gong practitioners studying the Fa, practicing the exercises, sharing experiences, or clarifying the truth are all legal and within their legitimate rights of citizens. According to Article 36 of the Constitution of China, Chinese citizens are entitled to enjoy freedom of religion.
Malaysia. A 9-day Falun Dafa workshop was held in the Johor town of Kulai from May 23rd to May 31st. Participants included veteran practitioners as well as beginners who had heard about the workshop through friends or family members. Throughout the 9 days, attendees shared their insights and experiences and sincerely expressed their gratitude to Master Li, the founder of Falun Dafa. The workshop ran for 2 to 3 hours a day. Attendees watched videos of Master Li's 9 lectures and learned the Falun Dafa exercises. At the end of the workshop, practitioners shared their experiences, encouraged each other to be diligent, and expressed hope that more people will experience the benefits of the 9-day introduction to Falun Dafa.
Canada. On May 23rd, Falun Dafa practitioners from Sherbrooke, Quebec, and surrounding areas celebrated World Falun Dafa Day at the picturesque lake Lac des Nations. By doing the exercises, introducing the spiritual practice, and collecting signatures on a petition to help end the persecution. The area is a popular destination for local residents and tourists. Alexandria was in Sherbrooke to visit her ill mother. When she took her children for a walk along the lake, she saw the event and talked to a practitioner who gave her a small origami lotus flower with a bookmark carrying the message, "Falun Dafa is good. Truthfulness, compassion, forbearance is good." Alexandria was very moved. Her son said that these words came at just the right time, since his mother had just lost her father. Alexandria said that it was her birthday and shared, "This is amazing. This is a very special gift. I learned about a meditation. This event is wonderful." She added, "I hope my children can understand and learn these values, because these are the essential meaning of love and hope." The following are selected cases of persecution of Falun Gong practitioners in China. A woman in her 60s died in April, shortly before she was scheduled to be admitted to prison to serve a 3-year term for her faith in Falun Gong. Miss Zhu Wenlan of Shandong Province recovered from her decades-long illnesses after she took up Falun Gong. After the Chinese Communist regime started to persecute Falun Gong, she held firm to her faith. Her prison sentence stemmed from her arrest last October. Police officers, along with local community officials, raided her home and took her to a detention center. The police said someone had photographed her distributing Falun Gong flyers. While in detention, Miss Zhu suffered both physically and mentally due to abuse. While awaiting prison transfer, her health declined, and she eventually lost the ability to walk. When her family insisted, the police took her to a hospital. Miss Zhu's passing capped decades of persecution for upholding her faith. She went to Beijing to appeal for Falun Gong many times and was repeatedly detained and fined.
A woman in Liaoning Province died on December 13, 2025, less than 1 month after being sentenced to prison for 3 years and 3 months for her faith in Falun Gong. Ms. Wang Lidong was arrested on the morning of May 22, 2025, while she was talking to people about the communist regime's ongoing persecution of Falun Gong. Having already served a 3-year term for practicing Falun Gong, Ms. Wang was so traumatized by her latest arrest that she was unable to speak. The police took her to a hospital and she was found to have a tumor in her throat. She was later released on bail. Ms. Wang gradually recovered by doing the Falun Gong exercises, but the police began to harass her. Ms. Wang's health worsened, and doctors warned that she could die at any time. Despite her critical condition, Ms. Wang was made to stand trial. She was on oxygen and unable to speak during that time. Ms. Wang's passing capped decades of persecution for upholding her faith.
A woman in Liaoning province stood trial in May because she practices Falun Gong. Ms. Tong Xiaoyan was arrested last year after the police instructed her landlord to deceive her into returning to her rental place by saying there was a water leak. She rushed back only to be arrested. Her computer, printer, and Falun Gong informational materials were confiscated. The police took Ms. Tong to the local detention center. The required physical exam indicated she had stroke symptoms and high blood pressure, so the detention center declined to admit her. The police called the deputy chief, who instructed them to forge Ms. Tong's medical records to say she was fit for detention. With the altered records, the police took Ms. Tong to the detention center. When she was finally able to see her lawyer, she mentioned that the police fabricated her medical records, their interrogation records, and the evidence used against her. Her lawyer entered a not guilty plea. The judge adjourned the hearing without announcing a verdict.
A mother and her son in Liaoning province were admitted to prison 2 months after they lost their appeal of a 6-year sentence for practicing Falun Gong. Ms. Lu Suping, 69, and her son, Mr. Zhong Nan, 45, were arrested at their shared residence a year ago. A city court sentenced both of them to 6 years and a 15,000 yuan fine. The mother and son appealed, but the intermediate court ruled against them. According to an insider, Ms. Lu is currently very weak. She struggles to speak clearly and needs help walking. Prior to their latest persecution, Ms. Lu and Mr. Zhang were previously sentenced to 3.5 and 3 years, respectively. Ms. Lu credits Falun Gong for restoring her health and was previously arrested and beaten by several male officers. Her face was deformed due to the beating, and her eyes were extremely swollen. She was later forced to pay 5,000 yuan in exchange for her release.
Online magazine reports Falun Gong practitioners subjected to long-term persecution after being released from prison. Bitter Winter, an online magazine on religious liberty and human rights, headquartered in Italy, published an article on June 5th titled "Sick and Pensionless: The Long Punishment of Xinjiang Falun Gong Professor." The report detailed the ongoing oppression of Falun Gong practitioner Li Shanghong, a former lecturer at the Xinjiang Institute of Technology who refused to renounce her faith. The report stated, "The repression of dissidents does not conclude at the prison gate. It continues through the quiet, devastating weapon of economic annihilation." The article states, Li began practicing Falun Gong in 1997. When the movement was under attack in 1999, she joined the early wave of practitioners who traveled to Beijing to protest. What followed was a descent into the kind of abuse that the authorities still deny, but that survivors and witnesses have described for decades. In 1999, she was abducted by agents of the Xinjiang 610 office and taken to the psychiatric hospital in Urumqi. There, according to testimonies collected at the time, she was confined among mentally ill male and female patients, subjected to verbal and physical harassment, and forced to take unknown medications. Fellow practitioners who managed to visit her in August and September of 1999 reported scenes of humiliation and neglect. When the hospital realized the visits might expose what is happening, it barred further access. She was later sentenced to 11 years in prison and sent to the notorious Xinjiang Women's Prison. After she was released, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison again for a total of 14 years. Being released did not mean her suffering ended, however. As early as 2001, the article continued, the Xinjiang Institute of Technology fired her. 16 years of seniority vanished overnight, and with it, every yuan of pension she contributed. When she fell ill in 2021 and required radiotherapy for cancer and heart surgery, she discovered that her public medical coverage had also been stripped away. Tens of thousands of yuan in medical bills were left for her family. Today, at retirement age, she receives no pension at all. She lives alone without income in conditions that would be precarious for anyone, let alone a woman whose health has been repeatedly damaged by imprisonment, forced medication, and years of stress. The article pointed out that Li's case is not unique. The communist regime uses this systematic withdrawal of livelihood to punish dissidents. The report elaborated, even after you have served your sentence, the state retains the right to erase your past, your career, your savings, and your future. For Falun Gong practitioners, this is a familiar script. Many emerge from prison only to find themselves unemployable, uninsured, and without pensions they contributed to for decades. In conclusion, the author wrote, the denial of pensions has become a quiet but effective instrument of coercion. It also raises a question that China's authorities prefer not to hear, that if a citizen has completed her sentence, by what logic, legal or moral, does the punishment continue for the rest of life?
Human rights advocates in the UK stand with Falun Gong practitioners. The documentary State Organs was screened at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Maidenhead, UK on May 30th. The award-winning film exposes the state-sanctioned forced organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners in China. After the screening, human rights advocates, doctors, and local residents discussed the organ transplant industry that is organized and supported by the CCP. Many said they were appalled by the human rights violations, but they were touched by the practitioners' perseverance. Program attendee Fulvinder said, I did not think the situation was so terrible. Such human rights trampling is beyond imagination. We cannot allow this to continue. We need to help Chinese people end the CCP's atrocities. As a former surgeon, Inver Toti, a Uyghur born in Xinjiang, has personal experience of the CCP's forced organ harvesting. After escaping to the UK, he dedicated himself to upholding human rights and is now head of the Uyghur Association in the UK. He said that the number of victims was small in the early days and the live organ harvesting was covered up. A disturbing shift emerged in the late 1990s. The CCP launched the persecution of Falun Gong in 1999, which provided it with an almost unlimited source of organs. Toti said that the Falun Gong practitioners' continuous efforts to investigate and raise awareness of the issue has led the international society to pay attention to the CCP's atrocities, especially the industrial-scale organ harvesting. He said, many people think this is a Falun Gong issue. It's not. This international attention is a result of practitioners' efforts. Other victim groups are small, timid, or lack detailed analysis and evidence like Falun Gong practitioners. Prominent human rights activist and co-founder of Hong Kong Watch, Benedict Rogers, said that the UK has a system of voluntary organ donation. It is well known that finding a matching organ typically takes months or even years, never just a week or two. Yet in China, The process can be completed within 1 or 2 weeks. As a Catholic, Rogers, alongside officials such as Lord Alton of the UK and Congressman Chris Smith of the US, has consistently spoken out on this issue. He said, "The Catholic media have been very supportive of us, and I write for many Catholic publications. I hope that the Catholic Church, as well as all religious and faith-based groups, will do more to stand with Falun Gong practitioners and express their support regarding this issue." Co-chair of the International Religious Freedom Alliance, Pritpal Balar, has long been dedicated to advancing freedom of religion or belief for all. He said it is truly heartbreaking to see people deprived of the right to their own bodies and even denied the ability to have their beliefs. Such a violation of dignity is heartbreaking. He added, "The most painful thing is that countless families do not know what happened to their loved ones." He lamented, "This is an immense disgrace. We must stop this." Balar referred to practitioners of Falun Gong as very kind and friendly people. He commended the practice's principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance, and said that they are the basic values of human civilization and what everyone should follow.
Praise for Shen Yuan's dedication and perseverance at screening of Unbroken in Taiwan. Screenings of the documentary Unbroken, The Untold Story of Shen Yuan took place in the city of Taipei on May 28th and in the city of Kaohsiung on May 31st. The events were attended by government officials, educators, and members of several local organizations. Several Shen Yuan dancers and musicians participated in the discussions after the screenings and described their experiences while touring despite facing threats. After the film was shown in Taipei, dancer Yingmei Zhang shared a touching experience that took place in Italy. As the artists were walking from the theater to the shuttle bus in 2025, members of the audience followed and applauded them all the way until they boarded the bus. Ms. Zhang said, "That was an amazing experience. I could feel how much the audience liked Shen Yuan. We were very encouraged by this." Dancer Benjamin Lee said that Shen Yuan was touring France when one theater received a bomb threat. He said, "Everyone had to evacuate and wait outside. It was very cold that day. However, the performers were not too worried and continued to prepare for the performance, which did take place." He said that during the program, when the Falun Dafa is Good banner was opened, we did not seek excitement or revenge. It was a heroic, not a tragic feeling, true joy. Mr. Lee emphasized the value of that faith. "No matter what happens, I will continue." Tam Kang University Associate Professor Chung Chen Mo said the film showed how the CCP takes advantage of free societies to spread fear. "If we give up because we are afraid, then it succeeds," he said after seeing the screening in Taipei. Professor Chung said he was moved by the young performers who reminded him of his own children. "When I saw these young people, so idealistic, willing to dedicate themselves and give, I was truly moved." The executive director of Citizens Congress Watch, Chang Hong Lin, said, "This film clearly tells you that the CCP is using its international influence to carry out cross-border repression. It even uses threats against Shen Yuan performances to influence and control every place. That is a very frightening thing." City Councilor Chen Li Na attended the screening in Kaohsiung on May 31st. She said the documentary showed the truth about the artists' lives and allowed people to see how the CCP crosses borders to inflict harm. She reminded people to cherish freedom with the words, "When we choose silence, we may lose our freedom." Facing the CCP's transnational repression and infiltration, Ms. Chen said Taiwan's legislative yuan is already pushing forward relevant proposals, and the Kaohsiung City Council is also voicing solidarity. "So we are also looking forward to this topic. Not only in Taiwan, but in the entire world, we should all say no to the CCP's transnational repression," she said. Advisor to the Kaohsiung city government and professor at the National Pingtung University of Science and Technology, Yang Ting Hong said the film not only presents the artists' pursuit of excellence, but also their strong faith while facing pressure. He said, "Keep going, evil will not overpower the good. Justice will definitely prevail."
Thank you for listening to the Minghui Radio Podcast. For more information, including news about the persecution of Falun Gong practitioners in China and experience sharing stories by practitioners around the world, please visit our website at en.minghui.org.